If the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say this was their finest hour.
We stand for Queen,
country, and video games. BRB UK.
Worse teeth,
better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy hoy. Welcome to episode 317 of BRB UK. I am Dan, and this is a show that you are listening to. I thought I'd just try out a new vocal thing there. Didn't really work, not gonna lie. Coleman.
Hi.
You're a man who's also on this podcast.
I am.
How do?
Do okay. I have a cold, so I got the deeper voice today.
Oh, you got the sexy voice.
I got the Phoebe Buffet voice thing going.
Sexy voice.
Yeah.
Sexy. And one other person who all I have to say is, how's your father?
All right.
There we go, it's Kev White.
I do not have a sexy voice because I am West Country, and even when I try to speak like a normal English person, it still doesn't sound sexy.
Oh, take off that brassiere, my dear.
Take those pantaloons right off, my darling.
Can't get enough of your loving, babe.
If you like my body and you think I'm sexy.
The really disturbing thing is when Coleman does it, it actually does sound like Ashe Cutler.
And also a special guest tonight is Kev's curry that he's eating.
Yep, you might hear it on the mic, you might not, I don't know. But I got home from work about 10 minutes ago, and I'm starving, and I'm eating a curry.
Talk us through your curry.
It's a chicken tikka masala. I went pretty dog standard, if I'm honest with you.
Rice or naan?
Both. I've decided to go. I'm really hungry, so I'm having a plain naan and pilau rice.
You're an animal, Kevin.
I know, and I know people are going to get on at me about this plain naan business, but you know what? I like a plain naan sometimes, so sue me.
But a Peshwari naan is the mightiest of the naans.
Too much coconut in it, man.
I'm all about the garlic.
Garlic naan, really?
Garlic naan?
Garlic naan's a good one. I'm with Coleman on that one. Garlic naan's a good one.
Problem is, garlic tastes awesome at the time. Then about an hour afterwards, it's like something died in your face.
I'm fine with that. Garlic and onion, people are like, oh, it's such a revolting thing for your breath. And I'm like, yeah, but I love it.
Plus, mint exists.
Yeah, it doesn't work, though.
It does.
Does not work.
Usually does the job.
I was in a meeting yesterday and one of my bosses was like, oh, I'm eating a cheese and onion sandwich, so you'll have to forgive the onion smell. I was just like, just breathe on me. I'm fine with it.
Breathe on me. That sounds a bit filthy. Breathe on me.
I love it.
Go and breathe on me. Oh, just breathe on me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Oh.
Just put your lips around my nose and blow into my nostrils.
Right there. Oh, yeah, that's it. Just
right there.
blow there.
Oh,
okay,
right
that's good.
there.
Yeah.
Right there. Oh, now just put a little bit of that chutney up my left nostril.
Good lord,
That's
this went in a
lovely.
direction, didn't it?
Anyway, Extra Life!
Extra life.
Extra Life!
I heard that in a song once.
What? Extra Life!
Do you know, I almost thought about re-releasing that this year with absolutely no changes whatsoever. It would be like 5 years out of date, but...
Well, no, because the date line's up this year.
Oh, done it.
Oh, it does, you're right, actually.
November 3rd.
No, it was November 2nd last time.
Oh, was it? Balls.
I remember the song.
Well, you could have gone on November 3rd.
Yeah, because that is seamless. Like a bad pair of trousers,
I'm
that is
putting
seamless.
that in the Extra Life song equivalent of the Wank Bang for next year.
Nice.
Good.
I don't really know what to do with that.
We did 24 hours of gaming.
I guess, yeah, 24 hours of gaming.
36, really.
Well, yeah, because Coleman was doing his usual Dan and Kev don't love children because they're doing it in 2 12-hour chunks.
Yep.
But it did mean that we provided 36 hours of the top quality entertainment. It did mean that near the end of my stream, I got the donation that pushed BigRedBarel over its goal.
Well done.
That's true.
So what are the highlights of your particular 2 12-hour stints?
Well, who could forget the hour or so that we spent teaming up with you guys for the ultimate in Forza Horizon fun?
Can I just say, Microsoft, sort your crap out with Forza Horizon 4 for a game that is designed to be social. The network connectivity and the friend connectivity on that thing is a bag of swill.
Where do we even start with that?
Oh God! The thing is, I love it. It's made me question my recommendation of the game.
Well, I was going to say that every time we do a live stream and we do the multiplayer and stuff, it always seems to get shagged every time we're doing anything on the Xbox. But then I remember us trying to do Monster Hunter on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with the fact that not Monster Hunter, that Forza Horizon 4 it crashes actively on the PC if you have XSplit or OBS turned on in the background.
Exactly. So, for those of you who don't know, OBS and XSplit are essentially the two most common, I would say, bits of streaming software. Although, yes, Windows does have the kind of Xbox-esque baked-in streaming. That only allows you to split to Mixer, and we wanted more than no people watching the stream, so we had 5. Thank you very much. It's ridiculous. It's clearly either very bad coding or they're looking for such apps running in the background and just being dicks about it.
That's 100% it. We tried starting the game while XSplit was already turned on. It wouldn't start. We started the game and then activated XSplit.
Crashed the game.
No warnings, just boom, done. You're on the desktop now.
And for the first time in a long while, I lost it after an Xbox.
And where else do we go from here about Forza Horizon 4? What's next? How's about the fact that you've got to play that game for about 2 hours to be able to play with your friends?
And also, I created a lovely route the night before. Basically, it was I drive along the road and then do a hard left or hard right whenever I spy a house for the delivery cup. Turns out that what you need to do after you've done that, and I drove a 30-mile route. Turns out you've then got to drive all of it, and the AI's got to be able to navigate it. So 500 yards in, they got stuck up a hill, and it wouldn't let me save it.
That sounds a bit Mario Maker-y.
Well, with Mario Maker, you have to be able to complete your own levels.
But other highlights included we actually 5-manned 2 Destiny raids.
What happened to all of them?
What happened to all of the team is my question.
Excuse me, you didn't have me this year, so therefore, de facto, weren't you meant to beat all the raids without me because I'm the thing dragging you down?
A 5-man raid team has never done so well, or at least had as much fun as we did that day.
Exactly. And I was not the first person to say it's your own time you're wasting. But no, it was me, Kev, Rygo, his mate Joe, and Cobb, who we 5-manned Leviathan. We then 5-manned the first raid layer, where I got very confused because I'm an old man. And then we 5-manned the first encounter of the new raid, which we were quite pleased with ourselves about. And then Rygo brought a random dude along called Sam. Hello, Sam, if you're listening. Most patient chap in the world, who was then, A, a bit surprised we managed to 5-man the first encounter, and B, was actually moderately impressed with our ability to do things, which I was amazed by.
Yeah, I'm always amazed by any time that someone's, like, that encouraged by mine and Dan's gameplay.
But no other stuff. I got annoyed at Magicka.
Oh my god, I've never seen you so angry.
It was just like, why are we all locked at the same viewport? This game should be fun, but Rygo keeps blowing me up like some kind of unstoppable dickhead.
For context, I purposefully started our game in the tutorial mode, which Dan skipped through every single chat window that popped up, as you do.
You're all right.
And then went on to complain that he didn't know how to play anything.
Yep, a little bit. To be fair, Joe was having exactly the same opinion as me.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think people really understand when they look at Magicka from afar just how complicated it is.
But my one issue is there is no need for all 4 of us to be... The fact that we're all on 4 different computers with 4 different screens, there is no reason for us all to be locked to the same damn viewport.
I do agree with that.
That is ridiculous.
There's an argument to be made that it adds to the chaos that makes that game so fun.
Maybe.
I wouldn't want to make that argument myself, but it's there. Ready to be made.
Yeah, but no, good times I had. What were your highlights, Coleman, apart from weird bear fighting at 8 in the morning?
So we mostly did fighting games, which was good because they're easy to pick up and put down, I find. So it was good to crack out Tekken and have the new DLC characters. They've added recently Lei Wulong and Anna Williams back to those games. Getting Tim to play Dragon Ball was quite impressive.
Had he not played that yet?
He played it once and really didn't like it because I think it was just sort of the explosion of colour was too much. So I don't know what's happening. There's too many things going on, which is insane because he's played the holy hell out of the last Capcom vs Marvel game, and that's just colourful vomit on the screen at times. There's just too much going on.
Yeah.
Talking colourful vomit, did you put a VR helmet on?
Tim did for a bit. He played Tetris Effect, the VR demo for that. So he had a quick go just to sort of show how it works on the stream and stuff. But we realised that in a lot of PSVR games, there's usually a locked screen on the TV, and then in the headset, everything moves around. But every now and then, one of the games isn't quietly optimized correctly, so the person viewing gets the moving head on the TV, which meant on the stream, if Tim moved his head, the screen moved as well. It's not a great look at times. We did do the WWE 2K19 stuff, which went down pretty well.
How did Trump supporter do this year?
I didn't have time to make your character. I only got to make Tim's Like, it was about 1 a.m. before Extra Life, so I went, I've really got to stop and get some sleep now. But we all fought for the BigRedBarel Championship and fighting at WrestleMania and stuff. That was great.
Who won?
Ed won a lot. One because of a glitch that froze my character out in the game, so I just had to stand and watch Tim and Ed go at it. But I won a Money in the Bank, so that was fun. As we were loading the game up, Ed disappeared and then turned up dressed as Shawn Michaels with tights and everything.
Like in real life?
Yeah, real life.
That's amazing.
But because I didn't know, I knew he was going to do a costume change. I didn't quite know the extent of what he was going for. So he went, I've got to go change costumes, and walked away. I left the room because Tim found an old Tornado t-shirt for me. So I came in with a Tornado t-shirt and the cans and stuff that went out last year, by the way.
Do damage, Coleman. Do damage.
Don't drink, do damage. So I came in wearing that, and just to see Ed, like, mounted on a chair, thrusting his groin in Tim's face, playing Shawn Michaels' entrance music on his phone.
Oh, I bet Tim was so confused.
I don't know what I walked into. It was very confusing. We got more donations for it, though, so that was all right.
That Ed, he's a good laugh, is that Ed?
He's a very strange boy.
The big one, I think, as well, So me and Tim and Ed, in between us, we've tried to play this game called Hidden Agenda, which is one of those games that plays on the PlayStation, and then you all have mobile phones out to do menu directions and stuff on it.
Tim loves a menu.
Over the times we've played this game, I think we've started it about 5 different times, and for whatever reason have had to restart. So we were going to do it on the stream and went, we'll just pick up from where we got to last time. Since last time, Tim's upgraded his phone, so it's forgotten all his settings and we had to start the game again. I've never seen so much anger out of a room of people about a game. It's by the people who made Until Dawn. It's a fine-looking game. It's horribly written. It's infuriating. There was just anger at that game by the end. And even we stopped and went on a break and stuff, and we're still, like, off mic going, I can't believe that game is so rubbish.
I was also talking about Forza for the entirety of Sunday.
There was a lot of Forza slagging. But yeah, no, I thought good times were had by all, and DMed managed to raise an absolutely frightening amount of money, which is good, topping the leaderboards. And yeah, just really chuffed we managed to get past our $2,000 goal. So well done, Team BRB.
Good job made by all.
Good job, good job, everyone.
Good job, everyone.
Bring on next year.
Indeed, where we shall... seriously, Coleman, once you've tried the 2 12-hour shifts, you'll never look back.
I know, but, you know, I have enough trouble convincing people, hey, you should give me money for charity because I'm playing video games for 24 hours. The amount of times I go, yeah, don't you do that anyway? If I go, I'm going to do 2 shifts of 12 hours, they're going to go, so you're going to play video games? You're just going to have your regular Saturday, Sunday night, are you?
It was so difficult when I went into work on Monday trying to explain to people why I was so exhausted, just because I sat down and played video games for 12 hours straight across 2 days.
I mean, especially when your job, well, as we all know, looking at a screen. I think all of us have a job where we look at a screen.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh my God, I cannot spend another 8 straight hours looking at a screen again. It's it's just wrong.
I will say this is probably the first Extra Life where I didn't the next day feel like absolute I mean, I got ill, but I mean, this was the easiest marathon for me to get through compared to previous years, and I think that is because we had everyone in a room, we were live stream, we were like lively and mucking around and stuff.
Yeah, you guys had a great setup going on there.
Yeah, it was a pity that we had a better camera set up for it, but it crapped out at the last minute, so I had to go back to my old live cam.
Tim looked amazing at 8 in the morning on the other end, by the way.
Tim looked much better than I did at 8 in the morning. I went off to go to the toilet and I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. I almost had to pull out of Extra Life because I've been having eye strain problems that have gone full-blown infection. I looked at the mirror in the morning and there was no white to my eyes. Everything was red. And I went, oh no, I might be on the verge of a 3rd eye infection in so many weeks. I might have to stop, but luckily I was okay.
Dan, you might want to back me up on this, but I believe a medical professional would say that's not good, mate.
No, it's not good, mate. But you guys need to invest in a monitor that's either closer or has bigger text on it. Because about half of your stream is you training over, squinting at a monitor going, what did that person say? Like some kind of live stream 24-hour marathon session in a nursing home for video game people.
The problem was with the setup we had, if I moved the screen closer, I wouldn't have seen half of the TV screen we were playing the games on. And at one point, we were playing Mario Kart, and that was the split screen that I was on. So I could only see a section of what I was playing on. Not that that's an excuse. I am generally rubbish at Mario Kart, so that's fine.
Fair enough. But anyway, we ought to talk less about what we have done did and what done did happen this week in the greater world beyond BRB. Well, it seems like it's, sadly, another week more evidence of kind of prevailing misogyny in the video games industry, which is always bloody depressing to read. This is Riot Games. A lawsuit's been filed against them that alleges endemic gender-based discrimination and fostering a men-first environment. And, I think it's depressing the regularity with which such allegations come up across many companies in this particular industry. And I think that the thing that kind of surprises me and saddens me the most is that the plaintiffs here, these concerns were made as far back as 2013, and seemingly absolutely nothing's been done about it. Riot Games had a clear opportunity, if they did indeed listen to their employees, to make some changes, and that hasn't happened, and that's been the result of the lawsuit.
If you're going to be the games developer that gets caught out for having a toxic work environment, you might as well be the one that creates one of the most toxic video games communities out there.
I just can't believe they've been caught, every 3 months for the last 3 years?
Yeah, seems like that.
Getting to the point you can set your watch by. Must be a Tuesday. Riot's been done for it again.
It's how they know financial quarters are coming to an end, Kev.
The sexual harassment quarter, the misogyny quarter, the racism quarter, that's in April.
My opinion on this is the exact same as certain Donald Trump-related news in the last couple of days, which is I'd love to still be surprised by this sort of stuff.
But tell me about it, dude.
I miss being surprised by horrible things.
Please, listeners, don't confuse that with our acceptance of it as the status quo, because it ain't.
No.
It's like kind of you're not even surprised anymore. It's just like, why aren't companies sorting themselves out, paying people equally, treating people with respect? It boggles the mind.
It's like every time there's a mass shooting and you go, yeah, they're happening a lot.
It's more like, there's been a mass shooting. Really? Where? America. Oh. Well, obviously.
No, we're not going to get onto American politics today.
Sorry.
Because that is a rabbit hole.
Riot Games, sort your act out.
Yes.
And also everyone else, because Riot's not the only ones in the storm.
If you work at a company where there is any hint of bias against anyone of any denomination, your unions will be there to cover your back and make sure that you can make your concerns known anonymously if need be. But, it's tough being a whistleblower, but if you stand by and let this idly go, either you've got to get out of that company or you've got to be the change.
Basically, if you're doing wanky things, stop it.
Generally, if you look at yourself and go, if that someone else did that, would I think they're a bit of a dickhead? Yeah, I would. Don't do it! Simple as that!
If you wake up thinking, do you know what? Women have got it too good, then you might be a terrible person.
There's a great George Carlin bit from years ago where he takes the 10 Commandments of the Bible, the infamous Bible, and...
as opposed to Tom Clancy's Bible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tom Clancy's The Bible coming from Ubisoft.
As opposed to my mate's Bible, which you don't want to know what's in there. He takes all the 10 Commandments and he sort of over the course of about 10 minutes, he distills them down to one golden rule, which is just, don't be a twat.
Well, it's Will Wheaton's law of the internet, isn't it? Don't be a dick. It's a good mantra for life. Anyway, talking of, unfortunate segue, BlizzCon!
Only happy things happen at BlizzCon.
BlizzCon, pretty much one of the main meccas, as it were, of the PC master race. Blizzard know this. People who attend this know this. They're there, really, for PC gaming goodness, with maybe some console-based stuff as well, which is fair enough, because, frankly, some Blizzard games, in my opinion, the best version, looking at you, Diablo 3, is on a console. So, stuff got announced. Hearthstone, a card game that's on a computer.
And on phones.
And on phones, and on iPads, and on just about anything, probably a fridge. I don't know. Rastakhan's Rumble expansion is incoming, so you're going to get new cards, a massive troll competition where 9 tribes fight for dominance, apparently, at the behest of the Troll King Rastakhan.
Rastakhan.
And that's coming on 4th December, apparently.
Rastakhan, let me feel for you. I want to love you. Let's get you too. Rastakhan.
Bonus points to anyone who gets that reference.
Yes!
Yep. Kev, you like Heroes of the Storm?
I do.
Loves it.
So tell us about this.
They announced a new character, Orphea, and she is the first Heroes of the Storm character to not be pulled from existing Blizzard canon.
Say what?
But who is Orphea?
Orphea.
Well, yes, Orphea, I suppose. Sure, why not? Orphea is the heir of the Raven Court and the daughter of the Raven Lord.
Raven!
This is, of course, the infamous father who has pulled everyone into the Nexus to start with. So
it's got nothing to do with Noel Fielding, then?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
That would be a little more silly, shall we say, and guaranteed to offend someone. Like
Noel Fielding, if you're listening, hi Noel.
Yeah, so Orphea?
Orphea?
How are we deciding on this?
Orphea.
Orphea. I like Orphea.
Or
I like that as well. Okay, Orphea
Thank you.
is, as I said, the first character that they haven't pulled from existing Blizzard canon. So the developers have actually, there's a cool article on a website which I can't remember but was reading earlier today about how the developers really enjoyed working on Orphea because they just had carte blanche. Orphea.
Thank you.
They had carte they had carte blanche. Blanche?
Oh my god,
blanche.
Stop it.
All right. They had carte blanche to
What?
They had carte blanche to
It's Blanche.
Blanche to what, eh?
Carte Blanche.
Oh my god. To make this character and just invent her abilities and whatnot. So for the first time, it wasn't sticking to a template to make you feel like you were playing a character from another game, which is a cool read. It's an interesting read, and I'm looking forward to playing her in the game. And that's about it. That's a cool bit of Heroes of the Storm stuff.
I may join you on that one because it's one of the few Blizzard games that actually runs on my computer.
You see, and it's
free.
I was reading was it the same article? I don't know. I was also reading another article, or maybe it was the same one about Heroes of the Storm, where they were saying how this one's actually on Polygon. I know that for a fact. How Heroes of the Storm has now kind of got its own character. So it's not Orphea, but in the grand scheme of MOBAs, it kind of stands out on its own now because it's not trying to be Dota or League anymore. It's not trying to compete with those. It will obviously be compared to them, but it's definitely its own thing now, which I've been arguing for a good long while, and it's just a lot easier to get into and just a lot more casual, a lot more fun, frankly.
Yeah, I really enjoyed what I played of it, and it has the Lost Vikings, so instant win.
It does. They're an absolute git to control, but yeah, it does have the Lost Vikings.
That's Heroes of the Storm. It's heroes of. I know when the weather's bad, they're the heroes of it. I guess. And
I will say that another year of Extra Life went by with me trying to convince Dan to play Heroes of the Storm, and another year has gone by where it didn't happen.
I have played Heroes of the Storm with you before. I just don't like being tired and confused. That's what I don't like. Anyway, what else is there? Talking of games, your PC could probably run Overwatch. In all fairness.
No, I don't think. I've not tried it, but I'm not paying to try.
I'll tell you this much: Dan's won't be anymore.
Nope. That game pissed me off as well.
Oh my god, you've never seen a team so bad at Overwatch in your life as when we played it on the Extra Life stream.
To be fair, you've not seen me play Overwatch, so you know.
No. I can guarantee you this was terrible.
Oh, so I felt so bad for Cobb, who's the only Overwatch player amongst us.
Yeah, there was like him at like rank 88, then there was me rank 5, then there was Joe who was rank 2.
There's a new character, which means we get a new animated short, which they're the only part of Overwatch that I actually like. I do watch all the shorts.
Huzzah!
It was a good short as well.
It's a short based on McCree, and I love me a cowboy, so that works.
Well, this is a cowgirl.
Yes.
Elizabeth Caledonia Ashe.
Great name, by the way.
It's a lovely name. And yeah, so she's best buds. Well, not necessarily best buds, but came from the same gang as McCree. So, yeah, there we go. And she's got a robot character called Bob. What's not to like?
And it's her ultimate. Her ultimate is literally call on her mate Bob to come down and he'll machine gun people while making sure she doesn't get hit.
Oi, Bob, come down that breaks gates.
Oh, it does sound very northern, actually, doesn't it?
Well, no, she can still have like the American cowboy style accent. She's like, oi, Bob, come and take these guys out. And he's like, all right, get me the machine gun out.
All right, hang on, my lover.
Oh, if he was West Country, that'd be
West Country Bob, the robot.
I'm tied between West Country Bob and Geordie Bob.
Oh, no, West Country Bob, I think. All right, you'll be with her just a little sec.
Good.
Yeah. Also, World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
Jesus. World of Warcraft Classic.
Yeah, they already confirmed this. Now they've actually given us a release window, which will be summer 2019.
The most pointless product to have ever been announced and actually made like it wasn't a joke.
Well, the thing is, on one hand, I go, who's this for? But I remember before the initial announcement that people were asking for an original World of Warcraft server.
They were, and they were playing on pirated World of Warcraft vanilla servers.
And Blizzard, Activision Blizzard went, ooh, it sounds like we could make some money out of this.
Well, they could sell a few more WoW subscriptions, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, that's the only way they're going to make money, because they're giving it for free to everyone who's already got a sub, as far as I can remember.
But interestingly, this has started off a new division of Blizzard, which I think it's called Blizzard Classic Games.
'Tis indeed.
Which means getting one step closer to Lost Vikings.
I mean, don't get your hopes up. They're not bringing back the best games yet.
Justice League.
Yeah, they already released StarCraft 1 Remastered, was what I was going to say.
But along that lines of the classic games, there was another entry into Warcraft Pantheon, and that was Warcraft 3. And the announcement of this made me feel so old. Because Warcraft came before World of Warcraft.
Yes.
Back in my day.
Yeah, back in my day, Warcraft was kind of an RTS, essentially. A bit of a generalisation, but that's essentially what it was.
I mean, it straight up was.
So I was right. Brilliant. I'm glad we've established that. But people look, what's this? Where's Warcraft 1 and 2? What? And it was just like, all you know is World of Warcraft, and you don't understand. Oh no, I'm so old.
My favourite reaction that I saw on Twitter was someone saying, "Oh look, that's cool. They're making a prequel to World of Warcraft." I couldn't tell if they were joking or not.
Thanks for mentioning my tweet, Kev. That's nice.
You're welcome, mate. Yes.
That's cool. I'm actually looking forward to Sheep Slaughterer remastered. That's going to be cool.
I'm really looking forward to it because I never actually played it. I was in the Command and Conquer camp when I was younger and refused to play Blizzard RTSs because I was a stubborn git. In retrospect, I've come to really love Blizzard games.
So I'm presuming that's coming on Blizzard Classics kind of slate as well.
It is, yes. You'll get to see how, what's his name?
Jeff Bridges.
Not Leoric, that's a Diablo character. God, what's his face? Arthas becomes the Lich King.
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges becomes the Lich King.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a great Lich King, wouldn't it? I will raise all of your souls as soon as I'm done with this J, man.
I was thinking more Warmonger.
Yeah.
Remember Warmonger?
Is there anything else like Warmonger likes to mung?
Beans.
Beans. He's a bean monger as well, is he?
Subtitle, occasionally a bean monger.
He likes to mung beans sometimes, and he becomes
he's
mung bean monger.
He's a mung bean monger.
What does it mean to mung something?
I don't know. It's a bit like, yeah, I don't know. Can you mung something? I'm gonna go crazy.
There's a South Park answer there that I'm thinking of that you might not want to Google.
I just realised that this will involve going to Google and typing in "Can you mong something?" and I'm not sure that's going to return
I was thinking
PC
mung.
results.
Oh, well, yeah, all kinds of stuff. Look at that. Blimey. Internet. Yeah.
Anyway, with regards to Warcraft 3 coming back remastered, I'm looking forward to finally being able to play Dota.
Yeah, the original, yeah.
I have a question along the lines of what we were just saying about being a mung bean monger.
Uh-huh.
Right, you can be underwhelmed, you can be overwhelmed, but what is the in-between state of just being whelmed?
It's whelmed. Young Justice, a great animated TV show based in the DC universe, already covered this several years back.
Okay, well, I stand corrected.
You can be whelmed.
You can be whelmed.
Anyway, after all these amazing announcements from Blizzard, surely the last headline announcement is going to be a corker.
Well, they were. I tell you what, they know how to build a crowd up. All you need to do to make a BlizzCon audience super duper excited is just put the word Diablo on a screen behind you.
Can I just put the recipe forward for you guys for a sec? So let's go back several months, right?
Right.
Blizzard say, we are working on multiple Diablo projects using multiple teams. They keep changing the names of Diablo-based merchandise to things that haven't been in Diablo before. Aside from all of this, there's just a constant flow of content coming through Diablo. They keep talking about Diablo on the main Blizzard account, which generally is reserved for things like Overwatch.
Wait, they have other games outside of Overwatch?
I know, right? We get to a few weeks ago and they say, look, don't get your hopes up, Diablo 4... not going to be at BlizzCon.
Which I love, because people read that and went, yeah, but it probably will.
Yeah, you're just saying that. You're just kidding, Blizzard, aren't you? You're just kidding, mate.
Well, I even saw, I think IGN was the one I read that on, and they went, they've said that Diablo probably won't have a big presence at BlizzCon, but they probably will.
Well, they did put out a statement before BlizzCon saying there's going to be big Diablo news at BlizzCon.
Okay.
So, the immediate assumption that I imagine most people went to is, all right, we're not getting Diablo 4, so what are we getting? Are we getting a new offshoot of Diablo, or are we getting the Diablo 2 remaster that everyone wants?
Yeah, on the way in, I thought we were even going to get some kind of re-release of the original Diablos for Switch, maybe a remaster of the second game, or some new campaign for Diablo 3 maybe, that was going to launch day and date on all the platforms, including Switch, at the same time, which was a good idea, I thought.
So the Diablo community, which, let's be honest, is not known for its subtlety and patience, is currently bubbling, about to boil. It's getting to a simmer. And Blizzard decide in their infinite wisdom to, at their own trade show, where they invite, or don't necessarily invite, but get attended by the most hardcore Blizzard fans, who are all very PC Master Race, and I hate using that term usually, but they are very PC Master Race, and who paid for the right to be there, who have all been promised for months in advance leading up to this that there's going to be big Diablo news. They get there, and their final announcement is, yo, we made a phone game.
They got booed at their own party, essentially.
Wow, like, they're the people that are going to support you through thick and thin and have done for years, and they booed you on stage.
Then didn't some dude go, all right, we'll open it up to questions. This bloke went, is this an April Fool's joke?
First guy, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke? Second guy, is it coming to PC?
Before we get to the controversy of the fallout of the announcement, let's go to the actual game itself. It is a mobile game.
Yep.
It lets you play with 6 classes: Barbarian, Monk, Wizard, Crusader, Demon Hunter, and Necromancer.
Monk.
But not Witch Doctor for some reason.
No Witch Doctors. Ting Tang Walla Walla Bing Bang. It takes place in between Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction and Diablo 3 storylines.
You see, now that is quite cool, actually, that.
Yeah.
That is quite cool.
Introduces new zones, enemies, and dungeons to the Diablo universe, and there's a beta that will be coming out soon that you can pre-register for on Diablo's site.
Now here beginneth the problem.
Well, let's just establish first that I don't think myself and Dan are probably the biggest Diablo fans here. I know Coleman likes it as well.
Hello.
Ooh, I love me some Diablo.
I've still got my expert run save from our Extra Life 2 years ago ready to go. When we're ready. When we're ready.
When we're ready.
Okay.
So I don't think any of us are offended by the fact there's a mobile Diablo game. In fact, in my own personal opinion, this is years in the making and should have been out. Like, it was just a slam dunk 3-4 years ago. God knows why it took them so long to make a mobile Diablo game. So that's not the big issue, right? The fact that they've announced a Diablo game on mobile is not an issue. But the way they did it and where they did it, that's the big mistake for my take.
Well, also, I think the thing that concerned many was that it was just a pretty apocalyptic misreading of your audience.
Oh, 100%.
And if it had been, hey, look, we know all of you guys really wanted for us to tell you about Diablo 4 at BlizzCon. We're really sorry we can't do that, but we've put together a little something that we hope will tide you over. If they'd gone into it with that kind of attitude, it might not have been so bad. But they didn't do that. And to make matters worse, now this is where it starts getting really a bit, the sensation they're taking people for a ride, because the Blizzard themselves are overseeing the project. The actual game is being made by a company called NetEase.
They're a Chinese company, right, who make similar games on the Chinese market.
Yeah, and on just general app stores.
Right.
If you search for Endless of God, that is NetEase, one of NetEase's games. It's a blatant Diablo knockoff, and it's gone full circle. Now Diablo appears to be essentially, if the screenshots of the UI and the control scheme and everything to go by, it's essentially swapping in Diablo assets to that.
Since then, there's been some kind of backlash on the backlash, we'll say. So the company that make these games, apparently the engine that they've used on on several of their games will be used for Diablo, and the control scheme will be the same because the excusing is it's a tried and tested method. It works. It apparently isn't a reskin of one of their previous games, which has been one of the big rumours floating around.
Yeah, it just looks it, I think, is the problem. And perception is unfortunately reality in a lot of these situations.
The thing is, we're at a moment with mobile games where we can't really go much further. The phones get more powerful, and we can make them look a little bit nicer. We can make them run a bit faster. We're not at that giant technological leap yet where we're massively improving on the old format. So when you've got something tried and tested that works, you might want to stick with it.
I mean, I think the problem is that it's just amazing that Blizzard perhaps didn't foresee any of this coming. And I still think that's the amazing thing about it.
The craziest thing for me, I think, is that Blizzard are renowned in the industry, and despite being partnered with Activision, part of the same company, they've always been renowned for holding their integrity and putting their fans first. We are Blizzard, we are here for you, we make games that you love, and we invest all of ourselves into it, and we will not rip you off in any way, shape or form. And then at the sort of mecca of Blizzard's community for a year, they announced they left their headline act to be a game developed not by them. And I think a lot of people took that as a bit of a knife in the back.
Just to play devil's avocado here, if they took a different game out of the lineup, say they went, okay, our headline game is Warcraft III Reforged, and Diablo Immortal is a bit further down the list, do you think they would have still had this animosity?
They would have had some, nowhere near as much.
Okay, because the reports following this, obviously you've got the usual dickheads online, like threatening people, death threats to the studio.
Yeah, those people can right off.
Apparently they had this problem during BlizzCon itself. They had developers walking the floor getting animosity from people attending on the show floor.
Yeah, the reports I've heard coming out of people who have spoken to members of Blizzard is that they were actually terrified to walk around on their own show floor because the fan reaction was so bad.
I can understand the keyboard warriors because they're spineless gits and they do that kind of crap, but wow, where'd you get off walking around a show floor and threatening someone?
I mean, for God's sakes, just because you've paid to be at an event does not give you the right to treat the organisers of that event in that way. It doesn't give you the right to treat. You should never treat anyone like that. It's just the entitlement, really, frankly, was astounding. Really,
I get the impression it wasn't so much like a hatred and anger sort of atmosphere there, though. The impression I get is those incidents happened, but they were isolated. The biggest sort of atmospheric thing going on there was just everyone was upset, just depressed.
No, I get that, but on the same time, again, once again, erring on the side of let's argue the sort of angles, the same people that are complaining, I guarantee this game will come out as a free-to-play type thing, microtransactions, what have you, all the worries that you have will be apparent, but I guaranteed every single one of those people will download it just to see what it's like.
Oh, I suspect they will.
And they'll be the top of the chart, and more people download it because of that. It might even introduce some people to the Diablo that weren't, afraid with the series before.
Let's be honest, that's the reason this is coming out anyway, is because let's get this IP that has been building up traction weirdly in the last few years.
Yeah, thanks. I think thanks mostly to the console ports, so the
yes, absolutely,
Xbox One and PS4 versions,
without question, and their continued support of all of the platforms. With constant content and events and things.
They're like Rockstar without the aggressive microtransactions.
Yeah, we'll see for the mobile game. But
might not be the case for this one. And do you remember how Diablo 3 started? I think the other odd thing as well, and I'm going to talk about this a little later in the What We Done Played bit, but it's also a little bit kind of cannibalising their own sales of the recently released Switch version of Diablo 3.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest mysteries for me.
It's just right, so we just released this franchise on a mobile platform. Right, we'll just tell them that a new thing's coming now. That's brilliant. That's absolutely fine.
If it were just a dumb little mobile game that was like a really distillated version of the experience, I would understand that because you wouldn't really be competing. You'd just be offering someone something to do at a bus stop, right? But they keep going out of their way to say, no, this is a full-fledged Diablo game on mobile. Well, yeah, you are competing with yourself then, you numpties. Also, you're allowing 10 people, is it, to play cooperatively?
Yeah.
Which beats the hell out of Diablo 3's 4-player.
I think since the initial announcement, it's now some people.
Oh, right, okay. Some people.
We don't know yet. A number of players.
Yeah, I mean, I love that this is, in all seriousness, this is going to expose Diablo to a lot more people. People who wouldn't have ordinarily looked up on it. And, there's absolutely people out there who are saying, oh, there's all this talk about Diablo. I've heard people talk about it before really reverently. I wonder what the hell it is. And they'll pick it that, they'll download a free game and go, oh, this is all right, actually. I wonder what the console version is like.
Well, it kind of makes me wonder if actually this is like the precursor to Diablo 4, if this is trying to get new people interested in the franchise. And in maybe 6 to 9 months when Diablo 4 gets announced.
And suddenly you've got a hell of a day one sale going on.
Yeah, exactly. So hey, who knows? But I mean, I think the shame is that, I think if they handled this probably not that much differently, it would have been a very different story. And the kind of, obviously, it's highly selected footage that they've shown, but it looks like it could be quite good fun. Yeah, I think the concern is perhaps less about the game itself, but kind of what the game represents to the kind of the hardcore Blizzard fans.
It's got nothing to do with the game so much as Blizzard have outright sort of told their fan base now, their diehard fan base that they've been prostrating to for years, and they've come out and said, look, we are not immune to this thing with microtransactions. and business models that Activision have come in and, well, let's be honest, probably insisted we do.
But anyway, there are other things that have been going on apart from BlizzCon, and I'm just keeping an eye on the time. We're going on some.
Do you want the super speedy notes version of Points of Interest, Dan?
I would love the super speedy notes version of Points of Interest. Interest my points, Coleman.
There is an all but confirmed rumour that looks pretty plausible that PlayerUnknown's Battleground, or PUBG, or PUBG if you are Dan, is coming to the PlayStation 4.
Plunkbat, I think you'll find.
Oh, sorry, Plunkbat. I forgot the third version. So a user on PSN Profiles forum spotted information about PUBG was present on Sony servers, which includes content IT codes for the North American and European versions, as well as images of the game. So you should expect that announcement some point soon.
In other breaking news, Bear's still in the woods.
Final Fantasy 15, there was meant to be a season of DLC coming out. 4 or 5 different versions of DLC coming out. That has now been reduced to 1, and that is because the director of the DLC, Hajime Tabata, has resigned from Luminous Productions and the Square Enix group as of Halloween Day this year.
Wowza.
The episodes Ariana, episode Luna Freya, and episode Noctis, which were part of the Dawn of Future group of DLC, those have now ceased production, but episode Arden, which takes place before 30 years before the main story, that is still coming out in March 2019.
So, hang on, is this something people have pre-purchased a pass for?
I really hope not.
I think it's a secondary pass set of content, because all the DLC should be out now for the main game, but they announced...
Yeah, the original pass was fulfilled. I don't know if they've released another one since for this, but the original one was done.
Marvel Spider-Man, I'm still enjoying that. The Heist DLC is out at the moment with Black Cat. The second set of DLC has been announced via the game's actual in-game menus. So this is the City That Never Sleeps set of DLC, which I'm hoping means we're going to get different storyline DLCs released. The second part of that, Turf Wars, is going to come out on the 20th of November.
Angry Gardeners.
I need to find out what the next suits are. I love Spider-Man suits. I want all the suits. Dan, do you realise via DLC they've released British Spider-Man?
I know, I was quite excited. Oh, it looks, I do actually, I now own a copy of Spider-Man. I now just need to,
yes!
I need to get my PS4 sorted and plugged in.
Don't let Coleman get you too hyped. It is a good game.
Oh no, it's a great, I think it's a great game, but I think if you've not been playing all the Spider-Man games up until this point, and you've only played a select few, then this is a cracking game.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you may be right.
Yeah, to me, I've been playing all the games and I go, okay, it's a bit Shattered Dimensions, it's a little bit of Web of Shadows, it's a little bit Spider-Man 2, and you kind of mix all that together and get this game. When in reality, it is an amazing game, and I think it only took me till completing the game and getting the platinum that I went, that was a banging game. I am so glad I played this game. It is so fun.
I really enjoyed playing it, certainly. I don't think any one part of it, like, the combat isn't the best I've ever played, the story isn't the best I've ever seen, the graphics aren't, like, everything is kind of, like, okay, but as a sum of its parts, it's just a really cool experience.
I will give it this: the diorama boxes that they've worked on for the apartment buildings, those are quite impressive. I like that system, but at the same time, a bit of a mind melt at the same time, because you could be walking from one corner of an office block and see it looks one way, and then you turn the corner and it looks completely different way because it's all randomized. But that is I really like that diorama setting instead of just like a reflection. I like that. Red Dead Redemption 2 is in full swing. I am loving that game. Online is coming soon, apparently, the beta.
Oh look, there's another bear taking a crap in the woods.
It's so good. It's so good. You should be playing it. Take-Two Interactive CEO Strak Zelnick, he has confirmed that the beta for Red Dead Redemption Online will arrive at the end of November. So look forward to that towards the end of this month.
How broken will that be, I wonder?
It'll be horribly broken on launch, but it will turn into a really good game that will then get flooded with microtransactions. But
I hope the houses make lots of money again.
For a good year, it will be fine.
So that's it. Well, thank you for the whistle stop tour. My points were indeed interested.
I can see that.
No, it's just cold.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, what have you played, Coleman?
Oh man, what haven't I played?
What haven't you played?
Do you want the good one or the bad one?
The bad one.
Excellent. Hey guys, do you remember at E3 this year they announced a game on the Square Enix presentation?
Oh god, I know where this is going.
Called The Quiet Man? which seamlessly blends a mix of third-person beat-em-up style with FMV sequences.
I kind of feel that shouldn't be style, but style-E.
Also, I've seen videos of people playing this game, and the word seamless is something I take objection to.
Yeah, it's not seamless. Weirdly, there was no kind of big fanfare for this game. They announced at E3, everyone went, this looks weird. A lot of people went, let's hold out interest and see what happens. And the game then appeared at a couple of PAXs, which a few people played and went, oh, this looks really bad. Hopefully they fix all this before it comes out. The game randomly, quietly got released last week. Thursday, in fact, when we were recording. I was literally editing the show and went, The Quiet Man's been released. And they've churned it out for like 10 quid. I'm having this. This is going to be hilariously bad. It's not hilariously bad. It's really bad.
So it's not even, because I was wondering if it could kind of go, far enough that it's a bit like Plan 9 from Outer Space, where it's so bad, it's good again.
It's not bad enough for Plan 9 from Outer Space where it becomes an entertaining thing, but it's not like a lot of thing, mostly due to Giant Bomb, but I hear the comparison of The Bouncer. Now, The Bouncer was another Square Enix property, which came out, it looked very Final Fantasy stylized, but it was about a set of 3 bouncers that fought crime out in the streets to rescue a girl who later is a robot. I'm just saving you playing that game, don't worry, it's not aged well.
Okay, cheers, mate.
I really enjoyed it at the time, but I love me a side-scrolling beat-em-up style, and this was a third person, and it worked really well. And this kind of harkens back to that, but not done as well. There was some love to be had with The Bouncer. It had like 20 million endings, and I unlocked all of them. The Quiet Man, it has this weird mesh of live-action filmed scenes, which we put a video up on the site recently that was explaining like the music of the game and the filming of these scenes. And at one point they went, oh, we've realized that facial capture is very hard to do and rendering is really hard. Why don't we just film the scenes? Because you end up with a Quiet Man, that's why.
Right, okay, right. Tell us how you really feel, Coleman.
It's horrible. The scenes are horribly acted and the sound is weird. The whole idea, the setup of the game is you are the Quiet Man.
Hang on, but aren't you deaf? That
Yes.
doesn't necessarily make you quiet.
No, you are a deaf man called Dane.
Right. So you're not the Quiet Man. You are a deaf man.
You're a deaf man called Dane who walks the streets wearing a leather jacket with a hoodie underneath, which I thought was a cool thing until I saw someone else do it. And you're deaf and you can't hear crap, but you go out and you beat up people and you follow a story. And the way the game plays out is it does these film sequences, FMV sequences, and you can hear everyone talking there, and it has subtitles, and then all of a sudden, all the other scenes don't have that at all. So just for the opening, you can hear what people are saying. You can see some very questionably ethnic minority stereotypes as drug dealer / street toughs that you have to fight.
In a Japanese game?
In a Japanese
Surely
game.
not.
Yeah, I know. Which is all the same stuff you saw at E3 as well, and it is very strange. Then, as Kev alluded to, the mixture or the seamless link between gameplay and FMV is it'll kind of cycle a camera around a character's leg to their foot, and that'll be the focus point where it should then seamlessly switch to the gameplay, and then instead hit a 5-minute loading screen, and then load back up on the foot in the game, and then cycle back out, and then you're fighting. The FMV sequences are horribly acted. They are incredibly boring, and they go on forever. You do
and they get repeated.
No. Yeah, I'll get to that in a moment. The gameplay sections are awful. You seem to fight the same 3-4 people. 3 people and a boss over and over again throughout the game, which isn't that long as well. It's about an hour and a half, I think, the entire game. And if you're watching the footage on our YouTube version of this podcast, what you're seeing in the gameplay isn't my capture card crapping out or anything. It's the game. It looks like that. It runs like a piece of dog shit, and I don't know why they've released this. Well, I know why they've released it for 10 quid, but I don't know why they released this game. Wouldn't you just cancel that and go, let's just save our company some embarrassment and just re-release, I don't know, another Final Fantasy on the mobile or something to make up the profits?
This is the same company who sold Hitman and the studio that makes Hitman.
Oh my God.
At least they're investing their money sensibly.
So the other bit that Kev alluded to is that you kind of see these dialogue things twice, is because when you can, spoiler alert for The Quiet Man that I'm sure you're going to rush out and play after I've reviewed it, you'll get to the end of this game and it will go, well done you, we're going to patch in the dialogue for the game at some point so you can replay it and know what all those people were saying.
Even though you're still deaf.
This was all meant to be stuff that was in the release version of the game, by the way, but they've decided they're going to patch it in later. So, question is whether they actually do patch it in later or not. But I don't really care because the acting is done terribly. So it's probably, the voice acting is probably going to be done even worse. But that is a thing. That is a game that you can play if you want. However, there are many other games that you could buy for just over 10 quid, and I suggest you do any of them other than The Quiet Man.
Right, so basically one review on Steam says, this game is a 3-hour-long movie with sloppy beat-em-up sections in between FMV cutscenes. Do yourself a favour and just watch a video of it.
I kicked a man into a wall and he got stuck in a wall and I had to restart the game. Not only am I playing The Quiet Man, but I had to restart The Quiet Man.
Oh dear, is this going to be our punishment game that people have to play? Being a bad person, we're going to put you on stream and make you play The Quiet Man and you're going to enjoy it.
It was going to be a joke that because it came out, like I say, they released this Thursday when we were recording, and it came out while I spotted it while I was editing and went, oh, I'll download that.
I mean, it is a little bit. Let's release it at 3 minutes past 2 in the morning on a Sunday.
I thought, oh, this would be a funny thing. We could start Extra Life with this. You don't want to, if it's bad, you don't want to play it in the early hours of the morning. You'll fall asleep. All the reviews and impressions and stuff came out, and we just decided we couldn't do this in Extra Life at any point of the day because it's just adding to the 24-hour live stream. And after playing it, I felt like I'd been playing it all day. I've been playing it for an hour.
But that's not all you've played, though, is it, Coleman?
I think you should do yours first, and I'll get back to mine.
Well, mine's not going to take long.
Well, you're doing something that I want to play.
Well, Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Diablo 3 on the Switch. I has it. It is, price, a port of the console iteration of Diablo 3. Now with all Switchy goodness, and by Switchy goodness I mean Amiibo support.
Yes!
Which, having not got any Amiibos, I'm not entirely sure what that is. But I did get an Amiibo portal, and it frankly looks like a portal to Whimsyshare, and Kev will know what I mean when I say that.
Sorry, just to add to that, they've announced a new Amiibo, which is the Treasure Goblin.
The Treasure Goblin. I do want that Treasure Goblin Amiibo.
Ooh.
Oh, I saw a picture of that the other day. It looks really good.
Dan's going to get his first Amiibo.
Yeah, I'm going to pop my cherry. I am.
So, is there further Amiibo support?
Well, that's what I don't know. I couldn't find anything on Tinternet. So, your mission, Coleman, is going to be, as soon as you get this game, I want you to put every Amiibo you own onto your Switch and just see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, my life is fully stocked with Undertale and Red Dead Redemption 2, so one on the go and one at home, but as soon as I've finished one of those, I will go pick up Diablo 3. This is sold.
Yes, I mean, it is an excellent port of, I would say it sits graphically somewhere in between the Xbox 360 PS3 version and the PS4 Xbox One version. It's really impressive how they've got this to run so smoothly on the Switch. There are some technical trade-offs. There's a lot of dynamic resolution shenanigans going on. And I haven't been in one of the endgame activities where things get really crazy and busy. But it is yet to drop for me from a rock-solid 60 frames a second. It plays wonderfully, this game.
The build I played was the preview build where I think there's one build before release as well. So the build I played was with like the super, all the characters were super leveled and everything was unlocked and you could just play through and it was fun to do. I noticed there was a graphical dip compared to well, I've only got the console versions to take it as, but to the PS4 version there was definitely a graphical dip. But yeah, it played really well. And we were playing multiplayer local as well, not through the internet, through the consoles themselves.
I mean, the one thing I will say is I think kind of it's if you're playing it in portable mode, that graphical dip is less noticeable. And, you know, it's never going to be as good as the PS4 version. There are other cutbacks, like there's less physics going on in the environment, less particle effects. But the main thing is it's such a convincingly good enough version of it that you kind of forget all that stuff. And the kind of the core mechanic, the loot grind, the kind of forever discovering new gear, forever finding out new ways to play your character is still there, present and correct, in a completely full fat form. This isn't some hobbled mobile version of Diablo. It is genuinely proper full-on Diablo 3, and it's got absolutely everything in it. So it's got the Crusader expansion, it's got the Necromancer expansion, it's got all of the other features Diablo unlocks. So there's seasons in there, there's the adventure mode, which you could get into from the get-go, so you don't have to play through the campaign again if you don't want to. Challenge dungeons, everything is in there that you would like. And Diablo is great as a pick up and put down thing. If you just want to go, I'll just grind out 5 minutes on Diablo for something to do. The fact that, you can just turn it off and then instantly turn it back on again on the Switch It's just great. It is such a good version of the game. The console version is brilliant anyway, but having it on the Switch, it's such a good fit. It really, really, really is.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I know in the multiplayer you can do online multiplayer, you can do local multiplayer via the linking of the Switches. Can you do like 2-player with Joy-Cons?
Yes, you can.
Excellent. They've sold a copy of Diablo 3. I was wondering if they sold 2 copies of Diablo 3 and a Switch for me and my girlfriend, but I can stick with one console.
So there we go. But I mean, I won't go on too much about Diablo 3 because it's Diablo 3, but it's a great version of a great game. You might want to wait for the price to drop a little bit. It is, if you've already bought, I think this is a game I've bought more times than Destiny, probably. But at its core, it's a fantastic game. It's a great fit for the Switch. I thoroughly recommend you go and check it out. If you wince a bit at the price, probably wait for it to come down a bit. You'll probably be able to pick it up a bit nearer 35 or 40 quid.
Oh, Black Friday's coming, Christmas sales are coming. I'm sure they'll release, if not the digital, then the physical version. You'll find it somewhere.
And I can confirm Diablo on the toilet is a wondrous experience.
Do you know what? I've done this. The Vita.
Oh, yes.
I miss remote play.
But yeah, so Diablo 3 Switch is great. Go buy it.
Do you have a Switch, Kev?
I don't. I've likened it to my desire to get a tattoo. Like, I've always kind of wanted one, but every time I've ever had the money for it, there's always been something that I want more.
See, that's understandable. I think with me, it was the only thing that sold me on the Switch was Zelda, but that was coming out on the Wii U, which I already had a Wii U. And then I played someone's Switch version and went, I need to get a Switch.
Yeah. I did play that on the Wii U. It was not the best version of that game, obviously, but it turns out I was very middled on it anyway, so I didn't see it as something I needed to buy a whole console for.
But I tell you, it does make a good portable game, especially if you have a commute to get through.
A Switch is something. Diablo 3 does a lot to sell me on it. The idea of portable Diablo.
Well, let me tell you, if you have a mobile device, my friend, Diablo Infinity.
Yeah, about that.
Long story short, I will get a Switch at some point, but not in the immediate future.
All right, no.
Jolly good.
Fair enough.
And probably not for Nintendo games either.
Ooh, what if they re-release Mario Maker on a Switch?
And you see, that would get me there.
So
I've been holding off
So
on
not
this.
only is it portable, but unlike the DS version, you can upload your creations for other friends to play.
In fact, I suspect the reason it hasn't re-released already is because they're working on like another Mario Maker.
A new one. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh god, how good was that game? That game's so good.
It is good. No, I'm thinking they're going to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate it and make like the original game, but with more stuff. And I'll buy it. I will buy that.
Are you going to play my levels this time and complete them?
I did play them. I just couldn't complete them. And you did a walkthrough, and I still couldn't beat them. And I question how good I am at Mario. I went to a preview event, and they gave me Mario, and they went, oh, these are the easy levels, these are the medium levels, these are the hard levels. I went straight to the hard levels and went, are you sure you want to be doing that? I went, I've been playing Mario since the 80s. Come on, I can do this. And I beat all the levels, and I was feeling really good at myself. Then I played Kev's levels, and now I question whether I've ever been good at Mario in my life ever. I'm going back to Sonic. I've had enough with this.
The problem with Kev is that ultimately, well, he's an arsehole when it comes to things like this. So, there's nothing more he likes in his sad little life than making people miserable through the medium of video game level design.
I didn't unlock enough stuff to make the rebuttal level that I was going to send to Kev, but you've got to imagine, like, if you ever watch...
The rebuttal level? Have a word with yourself.
It was I wanted to make a level for Kev to play in response to the one that he sent to me, and if you've ever watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and you've got Charlie in the mailroom with all the letters stamped to the walls with the string in between them while he's smoking a cigarette going insane, that was pretty much me trying to plan out the level that I never made. It went too deep.
If a new one comes out, Coleman, you and I have got to have a little bit of a back and forth, I think.
I mean, if it's portable, then I'm going to be playing more of it. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth the investment this time, if that's a thing. Anyway, Steel Rats is on the PS4.
Good.
Yeah, it is.
I guess.
Steel Rats, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, I believe. This is a game I spoke about at the Rest show with me and Tim. It is a 2D 3D, what do they call those things, Kev? 2D 0.5?
2D.3D, you're dead on, mate.
Side-scrolling beat-em-up, but you're on motorbikes.
Right.
So I played this, I looked at it at Res and went, not really for me. And then I was kind of standing around and one of the guys that was hanging around was like, hey, do you want to try this game while you're waiting for that game? And I went, yeah, all right, let's give it a go. And it's super fun. And I really enjoyed my time playing it. And it turned out that guy was one of the developers and he was super lovely. And they've sent me a code since then. And I've been playing it and it is super fun. I'm glad that my initial reaction of playing this game lines up with me actually playing the full finished game, which is, it's kind of a similar thing to Mega Drive days of me playing Comic Zone for the first time or Streets of Rage for the first time. I get that kind of dopamine hit in the brain where I'm going, yes, this is the thing that I'm definitely correlating with my childhood and I really like this game. You play multiple different biker characters, all that have different abilities but similar ones at the same time. So you have different attacks and special moves and things, but you have a saw wheel on the front of the motorbike, so if there's a piece of debris in your way, you can spin up the front wheel and it will act as a chainsaw to run through like a disused car or a log or a lamppost or something that's fallen by the roadside. But at the same time, you can use that for a speed boost. There's certain pieces of walls or platforms that it will stick to, so you can use it to drive up walls and stuff. Makes for a very super satisfying game. The game itself is set in this post-apocalyptic world where technology has risen up. Dun, 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 dun. And you are a biker gang that don't know what's going on. You live on the outskirts of the city. In the main city, all these robot creatures are coming up and attacking it. And it's spread to where you are, and now you're going into the main city to actually find like the rest of your biker characters and stuff. Again, it makes for a very fun game. It's a simple enough game, but has certain flourishes to master that make it a little bit difficult. And it all harkens back to old school games that I've played that I really enjoyed. The thing I attributed this to when I played it the first time was this seems like the greatest Xbox 360 Summer of Arcade game that never came out. And it really is. And it's priced about this. I think it's about 15 quid for this game. It's so worth picking up. If you've not played Steel Rats, or you've not heard of Steel Rats, which a lot of people haven't.
I'm going to tell you, I had no idea this thing existed. I'm watching a video of it right now. It looks like Shadow Complex meets Trials.
Yes, I will put it that. Trials not so much, because if you are like you can get little points and stuff for doing stunts, and there are in-game objectives and things to unlock new costumes and what have you. One of those might be do a triple backflip, and if you do a triple backflip and you land on your head, you're fine. It will just even out and put the bike back on its axis. It's not a super hard game in that way, but it is super fun, and yeah. I'm really enjoying it. And I just know as soon as I finish this game, I'm going back to get all the costumes and all the bike variants and stuff.
Yeah,
it's got a kind of like Shadow Complex mixed with, I'd say, more Joe Danger.
Yeah,
that's definitely how the motorbike handling feels. So if you like either of those games, then this one's worth picking up.
Is it a Metroidvania? I just watched a very short gameplay trailer of it then, and it looked very Metroidvania-y.
See, I would say no, because a Metroidvania would imply that there is a giant map that you are navigating, and which you could take multiple paths to in certain levels. Okay. In this, there could be multiple paths, but the multiple paths will go, if you go this way, the story is indicating you go this way, right, but if you go left, you might find a power-up that you wouldn't have found otherwise, and then it will take you back to the start of the level map, and then you go off that way. Whereas a Castlevania might say, like, hey, go this way, you might end up in the dead end. Go this way, you might find a hard boss. Go this way, you could find the way out.
Right, okay. Yeah. It looks really cool.
That does look really good.
That's totally made it onto my radar.
Oh, yeah, totally. I definitely recommend picking this one up. It is super fun to play. There's no Switch release, sadly, because this would play perfectly to a Switch game.
Is it PS4 exclusive?
No, PS4, Steam, and Xbox One, I believe.
How on earth has this come out on Steam and I didn't see it? This is a travesty. When did it come out?
Yeah, it came out yesterday, and if you pick it up on... I don't know about the other consoles, because I got sent my copy, so I don't know what the discount's like on PlayStation, but if you pick it up on the Steam, it's 15% off.
Steel Rats.
Oh, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
I just want to, before we finish the show, can I just make an agreement that none of us are going to play Fallout 76 next week?
Have you been doing the beta?
Have you seen the coverage of that game? It looks so bad.
Well, the thing is, you got to remember, I've not been able to get into Fallout since it went first person, and I tried. I tried with...
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Fallout 4, I really tried to get into it. I couldn't. I waited around for the mod support to come to consoles, and it did, but the PlayStation version, originally I picked it up on the Xbox One, and then I went to PlayStation, but for some reason, I can't remember why I went to PlayStation 4, got rid of my Xbox One copy, and they went, unlocked mod support will be coming to Xbox One, PS4 will be the internal mod support. Oh. So I've still not gone back to it.
Fair enough. Well, don't go back to Fallout 76. It sounds dreadful.
Oh, really? Because all my friends that have been playing it in the beta seem to be liking it.
Maybe it's a subjective thing.
Maybe they're idiots.
Mate, well, all right, yes.
Wow.
At the same time, I'm going to wait for it to... Unless that game releases and all of a sudden the internet is ablaze with, oh my god, this game is amazing, you should be playing with friends, I will buy that game and try to convince him to do the same. And if he doesn't, I'll buy 2 sodding copies of the game. But in the unlikely event that happens, I probably won't be playing Fallout 76.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
I am unlikely to play Fallout 76.
Good. That sounds like an agreement. Gentleman's agreement made. Jolly good. Right.
Gentleman's agreement.
No Fallout 76. Anyway, so Tim isn't here, but despite that Tuesday, I can confirm still a Tuesday. Tabletop Tuesday will be going on the 13th of November.
Yes, he's put me in charge. I've got the featured game in my hand because he knows I won't remember what it is if he tells me, because I kind of switch off when he says tabletop game.
Is it Tiddlywinks?
Snakes and ladders.
No, actually, you'll like this one, Dan. You ready?
Okay.
Rick and Morty.
Ooh.
The Ricks Must Be Crazy, which is a game featured around Rick, Morty, and Zeep, which I believe is Stephen Colbert's character.
That is correct.
Nice.
And it looks interesting. It's a card game. It's Rick and Morty. They tend to make fun games out of that license, which is amazing because it's another thing that has a very toxic community around it, but they always make fun tabletop games.
God, the VR game is so much fun as well.
I liked it. I could only play it so long before my eyes started hurting because it was just too bright.
Oh, Coleman, you're a sensitive little boy, aren't you?
If you work 12-hour shifts with computers and then you go home and you play computers...
Yeah. No, that's totally fair enough, dude. Cool. Right, so that is Tuesday, and that is in the loading bar in Dalston.
Yep. 13th of November.
Be there or be somewhere else entirely?
Roundabout... Turn up around about 6, but I don't think the thing kicks off until like 7:30. But go for 6, then you get yourself a nice, sexy table all to yourself, and you can get
bonus Coleman time.
And
get yourself a swift pint in as well before everyone else turns up.
Yeah, exactly. Get yourself some drinks in, and make sure you're ample distance from the bar, and you're in an area where it's well lit, because there are some blind spots in that bar. And yeah, get playing Rick and Morty.
It's usually after pint 6.
If you play Rick and Morty, The Ricks Must Be Crazy during Tabletop Tuesday, you will get entered into a draw, and the winner could be taking home a copy, Bookshy, absolutely free at the end of the night.
Happy days. Right, well, that is indeed your lot, and we are going to disappear, but not before we say thank you to a couple of people. From the Twitters, I'd like to wish a happy belated birthday to Nelly.
Yay!
And Andy Baines wants us to justify why Resident Evil 2 is better than 1. It just is. Shut up.
Because, well, no, he did this on my Twitch stream. He wanted to know why I would dare to say that Resident Evil 2 is better than Resident Evil 1. It looks better, it plays better, the voice acting is better. Not by much, I'll admit. The first line, what's going on in this town, is terrible, but I think it's objectively a better game, and also it's my opinion, which is why we have them. If you think one is better...
I can tell you the objectively correct answer if you like.
Go on then.
Yes.
Because in Resident Evil 1, if you played the male character, you only had 6 item slots, but in Resident Evil 2, everyone had 8 item slots.
Plus, I really like the double story, where you'd go through and you'd fight William Birkin, and then you go back through and play as and fight Titan. And then you can unlock Hunk and Tofu, and that's just... madness in itself, but...
Oh, God, I forgot about Tofu.
Hunk and Tofu.
Anyway, Simon.
He wants to thank Tim for recommending Tetris Effect. He really likes it. Smoothie wants to know if Tim has a mute button.
Sadly, no, we can't find it. Or if he does have a mute button, he's put it somewhere I really don't want to go.
Specifically when he's talking about the games that he's been playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really?
Trust me, we've been looking for that button for years.
Yeah, exactly. Last time I heard it's about 4 inches in on the left, and I don't want to do that.
I've been looking at Amazon at a desk standing stopwatch and going, right, look, 5 minutes, bang, there you go. We're good. But yeah, Tim himself doesn't have a mute button. His equipment does, but sadly, I don't have access to it. And Craig McCormick, who on Twitter was recommending us to another user for podcasts to listen to. Personally, I lost interest in the show when John left.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It was
worth
much better then.
He's written a book.
Hashtag bring back Brady.
He's written a book.
Yeah, I've got that book.
Have you?
I've been meaning to get him to sign it.
Brilliant. Well, he now writes about toilet-based catastrophes in Strathclyde, as far as I can work out.
Have you bought me book?
Have you bought
John's
that
here.
book? So, Kev,
Hello.
you have a face. You also know what a book is. Do the shout-outs.
So, we have got shout-outs to Freya Goddard, Mark Fraser, and Mr. Ed Price on Facebook.
HBK Edward Price.
HBK Ed Price. He's just a sexy boy.
Tim's not here to do his... We're going to do our extra live shout-outs for the people donated. Tim's not here, but I've pulled them up for him. So on his behalf, I'll say thank you to Leslie Everts. It's me, Andy Baines. Oh, double shout-out. Two donations from Andy Baines. One because... One because we completed... the Hidden Agenda, and another one because Ed dressed up as Shawn Michaels. So there you go. Stealthy Joe, the Chajettes, Dipsy, Gabriel Romo, and Dear Med. And Tim, who gave $81 to himself.
Good. Well done, Tim.
My one, I've got a fair few anonymous in mind, so the ones that aren't anonymous. Thank you to Neil Aitken. Thank you to Lena Jane C, who is my girlfriend. Thank you to Sarah. Thank you to Andrew Tanner. Thank you to Gabriel Romo. Thank you to Dear Med once again. And thank you to Leslie Evitz.
And thank you to Mr. Anonymous, who was very generous throughout the entire day.
Yeah, I've got a few from Mr. Anonymous.
Yes, indeed. So I would like to say thank you to Pete Linsell, Cobweb, Gabriel Romo, who says knob jokes, Dear Med, who says good luck. Right, good. Thanks, Dear Med.
Thanks,
for
Dear
putting
Med.
a lot of brain power into that quote, but also thank you for the $15. That was very nice. And also Leslie Evitz as well.
Dear Med's raised what was it? I think it's like $725, but he must have given out about $2,000 in himself.
I know, he's a ridiculously generous man.
He is.
He really is.
It makes me question how much Dear Med makes in his line of work. What does he do?
He's a lovely boy. Maybe he is.
Is he a gigolo?
So, but most importantly, we did actually breach our $2,000 goal for Team Big Red Barrel. So, thank you, one and all.
But that doesn't mean we don't want more money.
I like more money.
If you want to donate, mostly because I forgot and I was sick, we've still got our star prize to give away for our donations. So if you want to donate to me or Tim, I'll add you in that draw. Probably Sunday, I think I'll draw the winner.
Splendid.
Yeah, and you can win a bunch of Warriors Akari 4 content. Stuff that you can't even buy in stores.
Wowza. Right, well, that's it. That's the show. We've gone on far too long. It's one of the longest shows we've done despite Tim not being here. Very strange.
It's because I've already pre-recorded all the video content and we need to make sure we use it all. Otherwise, I've wasted my time playing The Quiet Man.
Oh, no, I think we could have said no matter, even if you hadn't recorded it, you still wasted your time playing that game.
We've almost recorded to the... Actually, no, we've recorded longer than the game.
Oh, wow. You're going to have to start The Quiet Man again, just like The Quiet Man.
No, I have footage of Steel Rats as well, so it's fine.
Oh, jolly good.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is indeed your lot. So skedaddle, why don't you? And we're going to be back next week. Yeah. Thank you for listening, I suppose. Make sure you point your internet at www.BigRedBarel.com or /BigRedBarel after any website you choose. Just see what happens. Who knows, something might. Probably a 404 page. Anyway, I've been Dan.
I've been Coleman.
I've been Kev.
Yeah, you have. And you have been listening to the show, so thank you ever so much. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
And your ears are quite welcome.
For the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
To BigRedBarel.com
for more podcasts,
news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet. BigRedBarel.com.
Howdy. What? Why?
Because he's a cowboy now, Dan.
I'm a cowboy.
Are you a cowboy?
I reckon they're going to be talking like a cowboy from now on.
We've lost
right.
him to the west.
I must say, it's a very Portsmouth version of a cowboy accent, I have to say.
Howdy.